On today's episode, I'm talking all things automation and why it's really, really crucial and vital that you have an automation project plan in place for the whole year, every year. Welcome back to Weekly Q&A with Steph, episode number 42. So I've been on the BGL Roadshow. I'm still on the roadshow with a couple more cities to come this last couple of weeks, and I keep getting asked tons and tons of questions about automation and about, oh, you just bring somebody in and we can automate some systems and we can put something in really quickly and then we're done with it. And this whole concept of, grabbing a piece of software and implementing it over the course of a month and then forgetting about it, or bringing in some automation specialist, or having a look at one thing that you can automate and then be done with it, is just really, really wrong. Technology is changing at a rapid pace all the time. We as business owners, as accountants and as bookkeepers are getting more sophisticated in terms of what we can and can't do with our clients, and our clients are always consistently wanting more from us as well. So automation and being able to set up systems and being able to utilize technology in your business is actually really, really helpful. But all too often I see people using 10% of the capability of an actual piece of software, or they haven't really drilled down into making sure the software fits in with the processes that they're doing in their business. Or worse still, they've tried to make a piece of software that has a whole host of other capabilities do what they've done for a very, very long time and not think about that automation that goes with it. So I believe that every single business, no matter what it is that you're doing, but especially accountants and bookkeepers, really need to have an automation project every year for the full 12 months of the year. And that doesn't mean that you need to extend one piece of software's implementation for 12 months or anything like that. I'm definitely not saying to, delay anything. But what I think needs to happen is every single month, you need to have a theme or something that you're concentrating on inside your business from an automation, systems and processes perspective. And if you're doing this every single 12 months, so 12 months in the year, maybe December, January, we combine into one, so at least 10 new projects per year, you can really ensure that you're getting the best out of your systems, you're getting the best out of your processes, and you're getting the best out of the technology that you're using. So what do I actually mean by an automation project or a systems or a processes project? This is not something where you need to bring in external consultants. It's just something that every single person is working on in a month. You need to appoint a champion, so someone in the business who will champion this project, but you need to go through every single thing, every single process, every single piece of software that you're utilizing across the business as a whole. And it's great to set a time frame or a timeline of when it's a good idea to look at certain things. So for us, I know we're always focusing on looking at practice ignition in May. And the reason we're looking at practice ignition and our processes and systems around how we use practice ignition in May is we're sending out all of our proposals for the next financial year in June. So we need to ensure if there are any tweaks we need to make, or if there's anything we want to change inside that system, or any other thing that we want to implement that PI has actually released that we haven't yet implemented, we always earmark to do that in May. And it's just a perfect time for us to do that every single year consistently to ensure we're getting the best out of that piece of software. For us, we always change up what we're doing with Karbon in June, again, because we're putting all of our processes and things in place for the next 12 months for all of those jobs that we need to be able to roll out, all of the client tasks and all of those pieces of work. But it's not just these actual technology systems that you need to have a look at. It's across the board, all of the automations that you have in place. So that might be picking out 3 or 4 big frustrations that your team has and really being able to work on how do you solve those frustrations. So I know a few years back, mail was a huge frustration for us because we were just getting so much mail from the ATO and from ASIC and from a few other places. So we really looked at a project for how we could actually get better or automate more what we were doing from a mail point of view. And that went from, only doing mail a couple of days a week at the end to having mail delivered to our office instead of having to collect it, all the way through to changing addresses for certain documents and things, making everything electronic that we could. And it was a month-long project that we then still had to continuously roll additional things out, but it went from mail actually taking 2 hours a day some days to never taking more than 45 minutes in that consistent time frame. Now, obviously, we still have to work on those processes every single year, and we started this process 4 years ago. But just having those simple things that you're consistently reviewing, you're refining, and you're trying to get the best out of is something that never ends. So automation, systems, processes, improvements of those things, they actually never end. You're never done with something. You can't think that you have a 1-month implementation for Karbon as an example and that you're never going to change any of the things that you're doing inside Karbon ever again. You'll find that there'll be certain rules that are really good to implement, and those rules might be, how jobs are ending up being deployed, or who is assigned to certain things, or changes for certain client tasks and financial information in there. But it's this consistency in review that really ensures you can have an automated business as much as possible. And this is not just about workflow, it's not just about capacity, it's not just about the work that we do, but everything. It's about automating your marketing. It's being able to really pull out what you can and you can't do from an automated perspective, and how you get the most out of the marketing and sales systems that you're using. And equally, it's about the administration processes and the administration systems you're using as well. It's about your training systems, your learning systems, your communication systems, and everything in between. So if you really do want to have the most efficient business that you possibly can, if you do want to ensure you're keeping up with all of those little intricacies that can help you save 5 minutes here to provide a better service there, automation, processes, and systems has to be something that you're concentrating on every year and every single month of the year. So that's a wrap on this week's episode. I've loved seeing some of you at the BGL Roadshows and look forward to seeing you next week as well. As always, keep those questions coming and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.